I'm Michelle Gauthier, and you're listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. Hey, friends. I was just sitting here working on some stuff for my group coaching, and I came across this old picture of myself from when I very first had my own website. I still had another job, but I was putting together my own website, and I got some headshots, and I looked at that email and just reminded me how I used to feel at that time. And I felt inspired to just create this random short episode to share with you in case you happen to be feeling like I used to. When I came across the picture and I saw it was my first headshot I ever had taken for my business. And I look so like perfect and stressed. Not perfect like I'm saying, oh, I was amazing, but there wasn't a hair out of place. I was just trying so hard to make my life work for me. But inside, I was totally afraid. When I saw that picture today, I just remembered exactly how I felt. I was just afraid to quit my corporate job, afraid not to make that money anymore, afraid to get divorced, really afraid to be a single mom. I was afraid to live in a smaller house in a different neighborhood. I was afraid to walk away from the status that I was used to having, like I'm a corporate person and I have this awesome job. That kind of was who I was. And so I was afraid to walk away from that. And I was so miserable, though, in the situation that I was in, and I had really tried to make it work. I don't know how you are, but I suspect if you have any of the overwhelming perfectionism tendencies that I do, when something isn't working out and you want to make it work, you just try and try and try and try harder. I mean, I tried so hard. I couldn't have tried any harder. And in the end, my old method of trying harder just stopped working. I see this a lot with clients who I see now where they're like, my whole life, I've just worked really hard. And anytime I felt stressed or overwhelmed, I would just work harder and it would go away. But eventually it stops working. It's like we can't keep outpacing the stress. So that's how I was feeling at the moment, but I wasn't sure what to do next. I wasn't sure what to do instead. I had no idea how to let go of the idea that I had to keep achieving, that I just had to be married, that I had to be part of a family of 4 instead of being a single mom. There were all these rules that I had for myself, and I really didn't know that there was any other option out there. So if this is how you feel right now, if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and have tried so hard and just don't know how to get out of it, I see you. I know exactly how that feels, and you're going to be okay. I wish I had known at that time. I wish there was a program or a coach who was doing what I was doing. I'm sure there probably was, but I didn't know that person at the time. So after I did quit my job to start my new business and I was going through a divorce, I love how people always say an ugly divorce, like there's really a nice divorce. Although I do think there are nicer than others, but it was not a fun one. I literally just decided to try every mental health activity that I could think about. So every day when I would wake up, I'd get up before my kids. I meditated, journaled, did tapping. If you don't know what tapping is, I have an upcoming episode about that. I prayed. I had a therapist. I had a life coach. I did yoga. I just remember sobbing in yoga one time. Sometimes something about yoga really makes things release from your body, I think. I did it all. And honestly, it's not like, oh, this didn't work for me and this didn't work for me. I feel like they all helped me in different ways. But I'm going to tell you the things that helped me the very most. The first one was learning that I could only control what I could control. That sounds so obvious, like, yeah, duh, obviously. But I spent a lot of time trying to control, for example, what my husband was doing. I tried to control what other people thought of me. And what I mean by that is I tried to act like everything was perfect all the time so that other people would think I was perfect. Now, of course, I have no control. They could have thought I was perfect or they could have seen right through it, which I think most people did. But I spent a lot of time and effort attempting to control what other people thought of me and what other people did. that is just a complete waste of time, energy, and effort. And I did not know that. So learning that was huge. The second thing I had to do was realize that work or a title or, the work title or even the title of mom or wife wasn't the thing that made me enough. Like it was, yes, it was a title, but it wasn't me. It wasn't my real self. And that I was already enough even without accomplishments or being someone's wife or being someone's mom, like just me alone, even if I didn't have a job or I wasn't excelling in any way. I was already enough. I was totally okay. Now, again, this sounds super obvious. Like, yes, obviously you're not enough if you aren't achieving something. But no, I had a deep-seated belief that I was enough and I was important and I was worthy because of what I accomplished and what I did. I also learned that I can change the way that I look at a situation by changing my thoughts and by changing the way that I'm thinking about something, change my whole life. So it wasn't easy. This transition was not easy. It wasn't quick because I was figuring stuff out as I went along. I would read a bunch of books. I followed coaches. I went on a coaching retreat. And then I felt like I was healed enough to really coach other people. So I applied what I learned in my own journey and what I learned in my life coach schooling and from my own experience, both my corporate experience and the mentoring I had done there and the clients who I had as a coach by that point. So after 5 years or so of doing that, and obviously I forgot to say in there that I felt a million times better and it just keeps getting better. I'm 6 years from that now. So it just keeps getting better. I forgot to add that important part in there. But after 5 years or so of doing that, of coaching people and helping women through their tough spots that were always had many similarities to the one that I was in, I decided, okay, I've got it. I've got the method. I know what it takes to change somebody's life. I had all the tools. I had shared them a bunch of times, explained them hundreds of times. So I decided that I was going to create this group coaching program that had videos that explained each one of the concepts. So each one of the tools that I thought were essential to changing your life. I spent all last summer and this fall creating the workbook and the videos and the whole process. And then I finally launched that group, that first class in November last year. And it's been so awesome. That group is wrapping up right now. We have 2 more classes left, and the results that the women have gotten in the class were just amazing. And my favorite part, and I think the favorite part of many of the people in the group, is that everyone just really supported each other, became friends with each other. Even though everybody was working on different things, we all understood that we were trying to change our lives in different ways and really supported each other. So it was really, really neat. And registration for the next round, which starts on March 1st, is open right now. So if anything that I'm saying here resonates with you, please know you don't have to keep going with a stressed out, overwhelming life where you feel like you have to be perfect and you just don't even know the first step to do to make the change. The first step is to join this group coaching that I'm offering. I understand exactly how you feel. I know exactly what it takes for you to feel better, and I would love to teach you that. So come and join us. I will put the link in the show notes, and I would absolutely love to have you included in this group. Thank you for listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about my work, head over to my website at michellegauthier.com. See you next week.